Um, and let's just do a quick review of the agenda. We are going to get a report, a commission's operation report from Carrie, and then plan for our July meeting. And then we'll do a little wrap up and be adjourned shortly. So, with that, let's approve the previous meeting minutes. Those meeting minutes are from April 11th, 2025. Do
I will
I,
make a motion to approve those minutes. It's easy when
and
there's just two.
do I have a second?
Can I also second? I don't think I can.
No, somebody else has to say. I can second, right?
Can you?
I don't know.
We'll look into what to do with that in the
Okay,
future.
and if we need to bring it back to the
Yeah,
next
it's fine.
exec, we can do that then. Okay, super. But thank you, Sierra, for the motion. Let's move into
So you need to both say that you vote to
yes,
that it's approved.
all those in favor of approving the minutes. Aye, it passes.
Oh, Daniel's logging on now.
Okay. Hi, Daniel. Good to see you. Hello. We were just let's go back in our motion. We were just approving the exec committee meeting minutes from April 11th. And so Sierra put a motion to approve those. Daniel, can we get a second from you potentially?
Seconded.
Okay. And then approval of those meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye. We've got
Aye.
all of us. Okay. Fabulous. So those are approved. And from here, we will jump into Commission Operations Report. Carrie, take it away.
Sure, thanks. Real quick, this is just like admin stuff, housekeeping stuff, but I wanted to mention we'll bring forward some more information we just recently learned from all of us involved in boards and commissions at OE from taking a new updated state boards and commissions public meeting law training. I think we're going to bring that to the strategic plan and like September retreat time as well. So there's a lot of really good new info in there. But one of the things they talked about was um, how we may want to record votes in the future for virtual meetings and doing like verbal roll calls and stuff. And because I haven't written it out, I wasn't going to like disrupt yesterday or today, and we're such a small group. But we'll follow up with some of that info so that you've got it, and we'll share and train out to everybody so everybody's like on board with how we need to do that and also meet our accessibility standards. Um, and then the other thing is, I just wanted to quickly mention that we had some internal meetings around things like Zoom bombing and stuff like that, and setting up some procedures on how to handle situations like that. And I think Kelly is like wrapping all that up and gonna like put some of that back out for review, and then that will be discussed. But I wanted to let you know that a bunch of best practices and tips and tricks I put a couple of months ago, maybe in the since our last meeting, in the folder for meeting coordination on Basecamp. So if you want to look at any of that in advance, you can, to be able to feel prepared on that. But we've got some policies that we're developing around how to handle that stuff, and we haven't all been here to talk about it. So I just wanted to mention that really quick. But just getting into operational and strategic updates, I pretty much gave, those general updates yesterday. But so I'll be putting an update of both on Basecamp and program commission and program Basecamp that apparently it just was published, so it's public now. I can do this. The courts have ordered the plaintiff states and AmeriCorps to meet and confer and discuss what the next steps are going to be, basically for AmeriCorps to live up, meet their responsibility to reinstate and return to status quo. So they've been ordered to meet and confer, and then both parties must submit a status report to the courts by, I guess, next Friday, June 20th. So
they are, prepped with all our questions in hand and to get some hopefully get some satisfactory answers. And there's some accountability there for AmeriCorps to have to like articulate that back to the courts that they have those answers. So a little bit of an update there that I will post out as well on the sites where I do those things. And that's pretty much all I think I can say about that right now. I did share out as well around that we are waiting on the CSG and KIF grants for operating grants. Because we did get no cost extension on our current ones, though, I can do the RFP, as I said, for the strategic planning, state plan development and whatnot. So that will go out, and I may have some updates in July for that. But I'd be aiming for the September meeting for probably like digging into some of that, having facilitator and so forth with the whole group. Um, Also, just wanted to quickly share that we're continuing our National Governors Association Policy Academy work, service to career pathway development. I did bring people together again to discuss, kind of a new vision for that could look like, kind of a plan B or whatnot, really kind of shoring up, some more sort of if there was decrease in federal funds or whatnot, what would it look like to get more additional state funds for that specific youth mental health core grant that we got and an initiative that we're working on. There's a lot to talk about there to think about if we were to expand state core as well and partner a little bit more internally at OE with the other state core programs. You know, what would we want to bring from AmeriCorps and what would we want to leave behind as far as, like why it is what it is and why it's so special versus like what are some of the barriers that we would be able to remove if we had some more flexibility with state funds and whatnot. So there's a lot of conversation happening around that, a lot of work happening. We're meeting with some of the other NGA Policy Academy groups to talk about some of their efforts. The goal is to likely have some legislative concepts to look at for this next session. And I just want to remind Sierra, because of Public Policy Committee, that it's actually around like this October that the first LC drafts are going to be in for the 2027 session. So coming up, so we'll have a lot to kind of talk about, I think, at that next meeting. So yeah, those are probably right now what my updates are as far as that. With the CSG for 2025, we still feel pretty confident that that's coming out, that will probably hit that June 20th, deadline. Still hearing that there's internal OMB approval issues for the KIF. In general, I think we can carry and deal with this a little bit because of the no cost extension we got. But if there were to be any issues with that funding, operational grant funding coming through, we will have some real challenges. There's actually a meeting that Marana is covering for me attendance in right now with Ask and some of the other plaintiffs or some of the other EDs to talk about, what if some of the CSG KIF doesn't come through, what will state commissions do? What are some other resources? For your information, if we were to lose any commission funding like that, Madeline and Mackenzie are union represented staff and they're safe, but I would be the one that would be laid off immediately if that funding didn't come through. So I don't know if there is probably some conversation to be had, I think, at a future meeting about what like that contingency planning would look like. So yeah, probably need to talk about that. What would be what is our succession plan and so forth. I think we didn't think that was really like a possibility for a really long time, but we're in that stage of where any of that could be a possibility. And it's something that a lot of commissions are seeing because typically, with directors, you're in management services. So you don't have that like the union like going into another role. So just want to put that out there that I will keep you posted on those things. And let's maybe I don't know where to go with that just yet, but I think we're still trying to figure stuff out. But I think we'll want to talk about it further in one of the next meetings. But I'll see what I have as an update for the July 11th, because I think a lot's going to happen between now and then.
Carrie, have you had any conversations within HAC regarding potential succession plans if that were the case, or? Not really.
I think with a lot of these things, it's sort of like there's other immediate fires people are
Yeah.
putting out.
Yeah. Okay.
So like if that one's not on fire yet, like let's not,
Let's not start the fire. Okay.
yeah. So I haven't gotten a lot of, I mean, I've just been told like what would happen.
Who and what?
But
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, but
Okay.
I think it's wait and see. Like there's just so many different funding scenarios and whatnot. But certainly I would want to work with Miranda, as being an OE manager and us partnering a lot on some stuff. It wouldn't be a completely, I think, like what is that called? Like udderless ship or whatever. I'm so bad at phrases.
Rudderless. I don't
Rudderless.
think
Oh,
ships have
udder.
udders.
I'm so
Yeah. And
I'm so bad at like I always get them wrong. Yes, rudderless ship. I mean, I think that there's some backup there, but there's capacity issues. That's not a long-term solution. But we want to make sure it's not completely like the rug pulled out from everybody or whatnot.
I'm sure you said this a bazillion times, and I'm blanking right now. What's the timeline on when we find out about this funding?
So we're supposed to find out about the 25, 26 KIF or CSG and KIF June 20th.
Okay. So you don't have to be waiting anxiously for terribly long.
No, I mean, we've got this extension on 24. So I don't see it as like, like the 21st, it's like a layoff or something. But I mean, it just means like have to go back to the board and maybe see like a wind down of my position or something. Is it something that could potentially happen? So we'll keep you posted on that. I mean, I think there's some band-aid funding, but obviously that only lasts for like so long. So doesn't mean the commission's going away, but it could mean that, there some research with staff or capacity. But me personally may not be there. But so I just want to give you a heads up. Like I'm not saying it's like imminent, but there's a few things that may happen and that could be one of them. So I don't want it to be a surprise. But as I said, I mean, it's really important. The work is really important. Keeping it going is really important. And I think it would obviously be a benefit if we've got some things in place too to kind of like make sure that that's happening. But yeah. Sorry. Like, that. The bad news. But it's not yeah, manifesting we all get our funding and everything back. I did want to then just move into committee, I think updates really quick if based on time. So we didn't get to have that additional public policy meeting, right? We had to reschedule, but we've got one coming up later this month. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about like that. Because I think we wanted to see if maybe like Tyler could attend. I also wanted to put out there that Service Year is doing a lot of interesting things around alumni engagement. And then Casey Reynolds from Ask, him and I are in some conversations about, if any of the LCs like that didn't go through this year, what the thoughts are around them going next year. And he's
Mhm.
doing some training development or training and some like new LC concept development stuff. So we may want to like schedule him and just kind of have
Mhm.
him be part of that meeting and just like run some ideas by him, if that sounds good to you.
That sounds great. Thanks, Carrie.
Okay. And then the membership committee, we had our first meeting. It was me, Jared, and Carrie with one R, no E. And uh that was great. I shared with him a lot of the updates, a lot of, kind of what's in draft, share with him what some of the like drafts are and templates and so forth. And we talked about the recruitment stuff. They're waiting to get some stuff from me for some homework to kind of look at for some outreach. We have July 7th is when applications are due. There's quite a few policies and like forms and processes that I'm going to have them look at and give feedback on for us to then present for adoption. In particular, I want to fast track for the July meeting with them. The like impact analysis form, there is identification I've done of sort of things that I do believe aren't internal operational policy that should be decided within the staff, but should go, in front of you all for feedback. But there's also some processes I developed around, doing, getting consulting with the people that it may impact, and doing that DEI analysis and so forth. So there's some things that the staff have let me know that they would like to bring to you sooner than later, especially say for before the next NOFO. And so for grants, which no, I don't, I mean, timelines are a mess right now. But presumably if AmeriCorps stayed on track with the timeline for that, that would probably be announced in September, which is not very far away. So I want to get their input on those processes so that we could like get it adopted and in place, and then they can use it to be able to bring some stuff to you all. Probably the September meeting. So just like keeping in mind those meetings. Yeah, I'm gonna fast track that with them. And that is great. They were great, really excited. The problem is we don't have a chair right now. We need one more member and need them to be the chair. I've put some feelers out. It might be we would have to be somewhat chairless, maybe. It may be we have a newer, we'll have a newer member that would want to do it. I don't, maybe we should poke June. I know she's got a
That's
lot
for
going
the
on.
that's for the
But yeah,
membership committee, Carrie.
I'm sorry.
That's for the membership committee.
Yeah, that membership and commission development committee. And we've got a lot of really fun, like interesting work coming up. I mean, I mentioned like yesterday, all the like ex officio roles that we want to do, like some of the like cross, like representation with the other state commissions and boards, and just, the DEI assessment for the commission, the reviewing like position descriptions, and for the boards, we've got a satisfaction survey and like training surveys for the commission members, just all kinds of things to kind of, just operationalize a bunch of stuff, especially under our values for, DEI and accessibility and so forth. So,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Maybe
we're meeting
after
every other month like the other ones. So,
okay. I wonder if after you give an update at the next July meeting about those projects that you just
yeah,
mentioned, that might elicit some enthusiasm for more people.
yeah, I like that thought. That will happen, but you're right. I gotta get my sales pitch on when I present that. So yeah, that's basically it.
I'm surprised there's people on the committee. No one's wanted to chair from the existing members.
No, well, Jared is on a couple of other boards, really busy, and
Mhm.
was sort of like, yes, I'll be on this committee, but I can't chair. So I kind of knew that. And then Carrie, especially with like, because she's also a union rep and stuff, and all that stuff's been going on with like the strikes and that in Clackamas, and then just like all the stuff with, certain seniors that she didn't really have the time. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
so I think she's like, I mean, she's part like running like the seniors program association and like all that kind of stuff. So
Well, I think it's
yeah,
like you said, it's perfect to be strategic in recruiting because it might be a new member who also is like, I want to join and also like join as much as I possibly
that's
can.
one of their motivations.
Like
Yeah.
I know that was me, and like now's a perfect time to also really focus on folks that might be completing their year of service. Because I know that's how I got connected to the AmeriCorps program was that I talked to Todd back in the day, and I said, hey, after this, like how can I still do AmeriCorps without doing another year of service? And he was like, let me connect you with this. And then I met Heidi, and then Heidi was like, hey, we're looking for like members. And so like it's a perfect time to like create that buzz so that people are talking to the right people and like can really speak to like you can really choose your own adventure if you just want to be like a member or you like want to chair something. This is a great leadership opportunity. But just like
And
Heidi did for me, and Todd was there as a resource, and I'm sure Sierra, you,
Josh.
yeah. Oh, Josh, that's why I'm mixing
Oh,
names.
yes.
We always gave him so much hassle too about why do you have two first names?
No, yeah, he has like two
I
first
used to
names.
do
That
that all
doesn't
the
make
time.
it
Yeah. Josh, yeah.
Josh
Hey,
Todd.
Daniel, I am not part of it, but would one of you, if you're a part of it, if you don't mind, like, could you maybe post to that big, like, AmeriCorps alumni LinkedIn group?
Yeah. Can you send me language?
I think you would repost the OregonServes post, right?
Oh, perfect. And I think you're
Just
speaking
make sure
about
they live
like
in Oregon.
it's
But
like it's not Oregon specific though, right? But it's like
no,
serving
it's a
your
big
alums.
one.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
there is no like specific Oregon right now. That's a whole other story. But
Carrie, I like what Daniel's saying that this is a good time to start putting the bug in the ear of folks who are about to finish their term of service. Do we do any sort of outreach directly to program managers to say, hey, did you just have a member this year that was like a shining star that wants to continue um, serving
no, I
in
mean,
some
I that's
capacity?
been on our list of ideas, but our problem is that whole piece, which is part of our whole like exit survey and like alumni engagement and like that whole thing, it got paused again because we've got that open position that we're not allowed to hire until we get the grant. So, but it was, it's in the list of ideas, but no.
I did reach out to a friend of mine who's an alumni to see if she's interested in fulfilling the disadvantaged youth chair. I haven't heard back yet.
Yeah. Thank you. I was just gonna say something and I forgot. Oh, I just wanna, if we want to look at really quick at the July commission meeting agenda, I just want to mention that it's 12:53. We scheduled these to be 30 minutes because, we're trying to be really respectful of people's time, your volunteers, that, not have these be like too long, and also we've really changed it to be more accessible and over the lunch break. But we did talk about the last time whether or not we were aiming too high with 30 minutes and we wanted to go to 45. And so I don't know if like how you're feeling. I mean, we can rush through, like, because last time we went over again.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a feeling we're gonna go over.
How, Sierra and Daniel,
Um,
do you have something that butts up to this meeting? Do we
No,
want to try to pull it to 1:15 if need be?
I think
45 minutes?
or we could do
having
12:15 to 1.
yeah,
Yeah. What do you like?
this time is generally open, and I think right now, considering how quickly things are changing and how many things are coming at us, I think it would make sense,
Yes.
at least right now, to schedule for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And if they end up being shorter, one off, that's better than going over, I think.
Yeah.
Do you want to vote on 12:15 to 1 versus 12:30 to 1:15?
Would you like to make a motion?
Informally. I didn't mean that it had to, I don't even know if it has.
I will make a
motion. I
motion
think
to
it's just
move these
informal.
meetings to 45 minutes beginning at 12:15 p.m.
That
That works for me. I already had, I don't know if I made my own calendar block, but I had this for an hour.
and I typically do too. I usually like
Just
buffer
block
it.
it. Yeah, that sounds good.
So that's good.
Seconded.
45 minutes.
Seconded for 45 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate that because I think with a lot of, as you said, a lot of fast moving.
Can I ask, and maybe I missed it. So are we feeling like we have some people in the wings to apply for the commission?
Yeah, I've got some applications to review.
Okay.
I mean, there's a few that I'm not gonna
Are
interview,
there,
but I've got a couple of potentials and then some targeted, some ideas for targeted to
okay.
follow up with.
And I'm wondering with that, are there specific roles that we're struggling to find people?
Tribal seat. And actually, as I'm
Tribal.
sitting
Okay.
here, I realize, Carrie, that I
I know.
know the so
Oh,
the
I thought you were gonna say something
new
else.
executive director of NAA is a former Bridge Meadows board member, so I know him. I will reach out to him and see if he has any ideas for people, either staff or youth that he works with. He might be good.
I mean,
Okay.
the labor one is really challenging, and the thing is that like it was mentioned that Carrie is labor, but then we would have one person doing two roles again, and that doesn't help with our numbers.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, I mean, the labor one, you're very generously staying on for us right
Well,
now, but I know some point we have to cut the
yeah, and
ties, but
I can put feelers out again. I had previously, but certainly I can put it out and I could put it out through the labor networks. There's plenty
yeah,
of them. You just want somebody good like me.
right.
I mean,
Exactly.
that's my fear is putting it out there for the masses and then anyway, I'll do some poking around.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I what I would like to potentially do with the business, and I don't know if that's going to happen this time, is do some cross, maybe representation with like WTDB.
Yeah.
Um, so that's something I had floated to Todd and Doug around, like some of those like people that would come on
Who
both,
was
because then that like brings that perspective from them to us, and then like vice versa. Um,
who
I'm
was
also
business
gonna.
before? Who
Sorry.
who who had been in that business role
It's been a
before?
while.
It's
We've
been a
kind
Ross
of had some
Cornelius,
in
I
and
think, was the
out.
last one.
Yeah, that one's been really hard to fill.
Yeah.
Just finding the right, like finding anybody that has any connection. But yeah, and then
So I have some thoughts on that. I think a rural like chamber of commerce person would also be really good for that, as well as a, you know, like urban business person. I would like to see us maybe get some apprenticeship
Mm,
and some like university admin representation on the commission as well. We also did have we had a public official and then we lost her, CM.
right.
So want to increase that again.
Okay.
But I'll be sending something out with the membership committee that I'll also send out to you all. That's sort of like our matrix for
Okay.
some of that stuff and the ideas. When we've got a few weeks. We didn't really know the dates for sure what the September appointments were going to look like. So, but we just got that notice last week.
Great.
Okay, sorry.
July.
So July 7th is the application due date. I can like toot my horn really quick, but as you know, like being neurodivergent and also like having a passion for accessibility, I've been studying for my certificate in accessibility in my personal time, for that, for the different rules and regulations for this and that. Got a scholarship for that due to my own disabilities. And
Good for
I
you.
have some of the stuff that I've been implementing into our own materials and, you know, and some stuff that we're going to be talking about in the membership committee for our meeting formats and stuff that we'll want to present to you all for adoption. But I was actually invited to present on making boards and commissions more accessible to all the, for the monthly meeting for the governor, all the governor's state appointed boards and commissions. So it was about like 320 people watching. I didn't look at that number till afterwards, thankfully. But I got to do like an hour presentation on that. I'll get
Congrats,
it out
Carrie.
to you
That's
all, but
great.
it was really great. And they've asked if I could help and represent as they're looking to update the whole application process for boards and commissions. And they're looking to like meet the accessibility standards there statewide. And we'll want to talk about this. So this isn't just out of nowhere, but the state has asked that all websites meet the new standards, the WCAG standards, they call it, for by April 2026 next year. So we'll be doing some website updates, but also some stuff that we can do with our documents and so forth. And so they had asked if I would kind of like introduce that topic as well as like provide some training on those things. So that was very cool. And
Excellent.
I'm really glad that I thought it was very cool to be able to represent us in our office and this and that, as you know, being kind of ahead of the game on some of that stuff to the governor's office. And I think there was something like 60 or 50 or 40 state agents. I don't know what it was, but it's a lot of people.
Yeah. And great that they're recognizing that that's a skill set that needs to be taught and implemented
Mhm.
in operations. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool. I was really happy to do that. Oh, Kelly, I need to share my screen and it says that it's not turned on. So if you could just turn that on really.
Yeah, do you want to try it again?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you'll get a preview of some of the recommendations I'll be making soon. Okay, can you see my screen for the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. So this is just a draft agenda for, why is that so small? July 11th. We're kind of trying to have a pretty standardized agenda here. So basically, I think my question would be, so we're going to this hour and a half meeting. This is sort of like a general standardized agenda. Always do the report out on federal and state activities and operational strategic activities. We'll have the two committees report out as well. I put around 25 minutes for mine, 20 minutes for theirs. Longer, you know, we would adjust if there are things that presentations or need to do approvals and stuff. And as of right now, it would look like there'd be around 25 minutes for speaker or special topic for July. So I just wanted to check in and see what you would like to see during that time period.
Do we have a program that we haven't heard from recently that might.
Or
We can
will
ask, I mean, there's that, there's a lot going on there.
I know,
Some
and
are having,
that's
yeah, so some are, there's a lot going on there.
okay.
That could be an opportunity or a burden, depending
Yes.
on.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, Sierra, what were you gonna say?
will the funding announcements that we voted on yesterday, will they have been communicated by the July 11th?
Mm, no.
Oh, bummer. I was going to say, I noticed that there were quite a few new programs on there, and that would have been really cool to get one of them to come in and speak. But if the announcements wouldn't have gone out by then.
No.
Okay.
So I'm submitting the final ones right after this call. July 11th is actually the second date, but we're aiming for this one. So if they said, Mel was saying yesterday, like 6 to 8 weeks, then that is around like mid-August. But I could reach out around potential like youth mental health core
Hmm.
program as well, and or new applicants that if you're interested in that. There's also whether or not you would want an update from Ask by any chance, or as I said, with service year, doing some of the alumni engagement pieces, if there's anything that you would want to hear from them, or if you would want, well, I would save some of the other ideas I had for September, sorry.
Hearing from Ask might be really interesting in this time period.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, hopefully, I think that's when more federal appropriation stuff is probably gonna be going on.
Hmm.
That might be, yeah, like Sierra was saying, that might be a good one and not burdensome to
Mhm.
program folks. Yeah.
Ask Kyra or Tyler or Casey
Hmm.
for
It
a
would be,
report.
if I'm not mistaken, they're now openly recruiting for national level committees and board, right, Carrie?
Mhm.
Oh, you
They
want them to come and talk about that more in depth?
or just at
That's a
least
good
mention
idea.
it because I've
Yeah.
mentioned it before, but having it come straight from the source, being like, hey, this is what's happening at the national level at Ask. And also if you want to get involved at a deeper level, or for those of you transitioning like me, this is something that you can do like next, but having
Are
it
you
come,
applying for the Ask board, by the way?
it's on my many sticky notes that I have on my computer, but that is the plan.
Okay.
Good.
I
So, I think it would be a great idea to also potentially hear from Casey around the state caucus, the National Service Champion
Mhm.
Caucus,
Mhm.
um, and kind of what they're doing and where they're at with needing more members with that, from public officials and so forth as well. We could do that.
Mhm.
And as you said, Daniel, the more info on those opportunities. Okay, those are a few things that I'll follow up on, but and stay nimble on if there is something specific happening around that time to be able to save that time for, then I will do so with that.
Great. Anything else regarding July, or we feel pretty good?
Well, I have two updates on things that were sort of on my to-do list. One of them, Carrie, we had talked about at, I think it was the last executive meeting,
Pacific.
inviting you to speak to the Pacific University Board, Alumni Board, regarding schools for national service. I haven't made that ask yet because the university is also in a little bit of a chaos space like we are because of all the higher ed related news coming out federally. Um, so I'm waiting for that to sort of like settle down a little bit. I just wanted to make sure you knew that I haven't forgotten about it. The second thing, at the last executive meeting when you were out having your adventures, Heidi, we had talked about drafting some sort of message to go to the AmeriCorps members and program managers. I have drafted that letter. What's next?
Um, Good question. So you could send it out to Heidi in an email, and you could send it out to Daniel in an email and get their feedback, and just they give it right back to you, so
Mhm.
that it's not serial communication
Right.
more
That's what I
than like,
was,
yeah. But that's too, I don't think that quorum counts for this, but, and then when you have that final draft, or yeah, when you have that final draft, then you could give it to us, and then it would, as with last time, Julia and Ben would probably want to look at that,
hopefully, I would, yeah.
yeah, for review.
Okay. And then for
And you would
the,
want to, actually, I think you would want to take that to the July meeting. I
that's,
think you
yeah,
all would like approve it and then take it to the July meeting for full, yeah. And then, but where I'm trying to figure out is like, I think the final version is what you'd want to have Ben and Julia look at, not like
correct.
a thing and then it gets changed again by whoever.
Yeah. So I sent it to Daniel last night because we were sort of working on it a little bit when Heidi was out. So Heidi, I'll send it to
Okay,
you, and then
great.
you can just do track changes and send anything back.
Okay.
And then coalesce those, and then I'll just send it to Kelly to include in the next meeting materials, Gary.
Yeah, for July 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Great.
wherever you all land on that.
Okay.
Great. Thanks for doing that.
Mhm.
Okay. Are we ready to wrap up?
I think
So essentially just sort of going back and sort of tracking where we've been. Um, sorry. Uh, July. So we need to, sorry, I'm flitting between our agenda,
right. I had the same difficulty.
tracking, and zooming on one screen.
I think the decisions were the changing the meeting time. So
Yes,
Kathy would
we
update that in all the calendars,
changed it to 45 minutes.
12:15 to 1.
And then, Carrie, you're gonna look into
Correct.
seeing if Ask can join us for that 20-minute spot in our July commission meeting. And Sierra, you want to send me the document, and I'll take a quick look through that, and we'll get that going so we can get that back in time for the next meeting too, well in advance. Was there anything else?
I can think of
I
right now.
think there were any other decisions made necessarily, so okay. And we are meeting again. Next exec meeting is what I don't have.
Your one scheduled?
I don't know that we have one scheduled. I was gonna look at the calendar. No, we don't.
It's August 8th.
August 8th. Okay, it's because it's so far in advance.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing as I don't know if you want to consider having a monthly one or not.
Let's see, the 11th.
I think where we left it was if there's an emergency,
Then we will.
schedule an interim. So that's kind of where I've been at, is just checking in and
Yeah.
seeing when we need to do that.
Let's leave the August 8th, and if for some reason we need to, like Carrie, certainly you can call on us or we can call on each other to corral. There's not that many of us, so that's
Yeah, because we'll be in meeting again July 11th
11th. Yeah.
and then the August 8th. So it's technically not 2 months that we don't
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
each other and whatnot. But yeah, I just saw this really quick before we jump off. How do you two at the last meeting when you were out of country? You wouldn't have been there for this, but we did also clarify that when we approve minutes here, we're not going to be approving the full commission meeting ones like we have been, but just the exec
Just
committee
the exact.
and not not the full commission ones before then they approve it.
Yeah.
It was really getting confusing
Okay.
for all of us of like which ones were going where and this and that. And so
No, that makes
that was
sense.
just a thing. I'm just
Perfect.
remembered. Okay, great. Thank you. We'll make those changes. Sorry, yeah, I gave so many updates on a lot of the fiscal and legal stuff yesterday. I didn't want to completely just redo that today. But I think you have the ones that are new, and yeah, I will continue the guidance that if an emergency comes up, we'll reschedule. Otherwise, and I'll continue to share the general public updates on lawsuits and things like that.
Great.
But otherwise, yeah, we would
Okay.
or have our next meeting be July 11th, and we will keep you posted on anything else that changes.
Okay. Thank you,
Good night, Carrie.
team.
You're doing great work, Carrie.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Gracias, y'all. Hasta
Bye.
luego. Ciao.
Bye.